when they first announced the Steam Machine, I was very excited for it. I think it might end up being a case of it being too underpowered and cheap for a PC enthusiast, but too expensive for a console enthusiast. So it's going to be in this weird space where nobody wants to actually buy it.
So, hello, welcome to the OLL show for Monday, the 25th of November. This evening, we are going to be discussing Steam Machine pricing, the elusive number that we all want to know about that nobody yet knows. We're going to talk about what are the best winter levels in games because it's bloody cold outside. And we're also going to discuss the results of the Golden Joystick Awards. There'll be a few other bits and pieces in the middle. But in the meantime, Mike, what have you been up to? Had an exciting week?
I've not been up to much in my personal life. I've been still plugging away at Borderlands 4 with the missus when I can.
Yes.
They released new it's called like a bounty pack. So they've got a whole roadmap and everything. But
Yeah.
we've both hit level cap, but the game's so big that we've still got so much to explore. I tried to play a little bit of a X-Men game called X-Men Legends, which
Yes.
people may not know was made by Raven Software, who eventually would go on to make Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which is probably the more popular game that they made.
Mm-hmm.
There is also I'm trying to get through my backlog, so I played a bit of Jack 2. So that's the second Jack and Daxter game because I've never played them before. I played the first one earlier in the year, and I've got all three games, so I just kind of wanted to knock those out just to say I've done it. Really,
Wow. That's quite a big week for a just for video games. I've played hardly anything. I've been trying to get into Expedition 33, but just haven't found the time because I got myself distracted by trying to soft mod my Xbox 360. Apart from also having like this weird eye infection, which I had to take my contact lenses out and it basically ripped whatever the equivalent of skin is on your eye. I took my contact lens out and ripped off the front of my eye is the only way I can describe it. So I'm wearing my glasses today. And I've just realized I've got like really bad reflections on the glasses. So I'm trying to tilt my head forward so that you can see my eyeballs. But anyway, yes, I have managed to successfully soft mod my Xbox 360 because I wanted to play, as I said recently, I wanted to play the old Metal Gear Solid games because I am way behind. I'm about 20 years behind on Metal Gear games. So I've now got the Metal Gear HD collection, which is why, Mike, I was asking, should I play number 2 or number 3 first? Because I was confused that when I turned it on, it said number 3 first and number 2, it was like number 3 was on the left-hand side of the menu and number 2 was on the right-hand side of the menu. And I guess it's in chronological order, but I think I will do the second one first. I got as far as getting to the menu and then didn't actually play the game. It might not have been an eye infection, Emily, but it felt like it. It must have been. It was something wrong with it that forced me to take my contact lenses out. So yes, I've the thing was I modified the 360, got it all working. But now that I've now got an Xbox 360 with infinite free games on it, I've now just been messing about doing all sorts of just little bits on different games, just going through stuff. That usual thing that you do whenever you modify a system or you get all your games added to your hard drive and whatnot, and then instead of playing anything, you just look through the nice menu at the games and just play everything for 5 minutes instead of settling on one game. But it plays all of the original Xbox games as well, so I've been doing a bit of Outrun too. So that's what I've been up to for the week, along with the continued mission of event planning. So yeah, I've played a lot and not a lot at the same time. So I can hear the word I can't hear the word modified without thinking of the Shooting Stars A-Team spoof. What even is that? I don't know. Right, let me get myself organised. Oh, it's just moved up me. It's moved my windows. I didn't want to move my windows. Oh no, I've made us smaller. How can I fix that? There we go. That was better. Let me make myself a bit bigger. We were a bit small on the screen there, mate. Right, there we go. Cool. Right, so our first topic today is our first topic of the day. I've just set my windows up and got them all mixed up now. Our first topic of the day is the Steam machine pricing saga. What do we think the price is going to be for this new Steam machine? Any thoughts, Mike?
So there have been recent rumblings, nothing 100% confirmed, but that
Mhm.
it was going to be more competitively priced alongside a PC. So it's going to be less within the sort of console market. I've heard some now that it's sort of been out a while. I've been hearing rumblings that potentially it might be just shy of the performance of a PlayStation 5. So it's going to potentially be weaker than a PS5, but it's going to be way more expensive. There's also there's also other news that's out at the minute in regards to AMD. I think it's AMD going all in on AI, which is going to increase the price of graphics cards. So it's one of those things where it's I don't know. When they first announced the Steam machine, I was very excited for it, but I think it might end up being a case of it being almost too too underpowered and cheap for a PC enthusiast, but too expensive for a console enthusiast. So it's going to be in this weird space where nobody wants to actually buy it.
This is the whole problem, isn't it? Because if it's competitively priced, it could do incredibly well and it could take over. But if it's too expensive, it'll be out of reach of the typical console people. Out of the console people, it'll be out of reach of console players. But then it's going to be underpowered for anyone who plays on a PC anyway. So I think they have no choice but to make it as cheap as possible. And the fact that they're using off the shelf parts, they're not using like brand new custom chips or anything like that. I think there's certainly a possibility that they could sell it cheaper, but it depends whether Valve are going to sell it at a loss. Like, I mean, they've indicated that they're probably not going to profit from it, at least to start with. But I think it's got to be £600 absolute max. Any more than that, and no one will buy it. But then you think, how much is a PS5 Pro these days? They're still about 600, 650, aren't they? In fact, I might look that up. But yeah, I think 600 is probably the limit, I would say, that I would consider spending on one. I think 500, it needs to be 500 probably if it's going to really, enter the market and be a true competitor to, Nintendo and Sony. But I'm very hopeful for it, and I do very much hope that it succeeds because I do feel like I want to get one, but that's because it would satisfy my need for simplifying my sim racing. So that's what I think, anyway.
I think there's also one problem as well is the way that I'm assuming they'll sell it the same way they sold on the Steam Deck, which is having to go to the Steam store and buy it. And the problem they had with the Steam Deck when that first came out was it was selling out like crazy. Now,
Mhm,
obviously, as you know, when it comes to consoles, they go out everywhere, so you can buy them from almost any shop you can go to.
mhm.
Whereas with the Steam Deck, and I'm assuming the Steam machine, the only place you're going to, to purchase one is going to be on the actual Steam website, and that is going to be subject to
That's a good
availability.
point.
So I think
That's a good
the
point.
scalping market for the Steam machine is going to be absolutely through the roof, I imagine.
Yeah, because it's not like I mean, yeah, PS5 was hard to get, but any retailer could order PS5s and sell them, like I did. But yeah, you're right. With a Steam machine, it's going to be it's going to be very, very controlled, isn't it? So yeah, that's definitely something to consider. I hadn't even thought of that, but I think I think it's gonna sell out at least to start with, just because of what it is.
It will
Every
sell out. It's more so that it was just going to be impossible for those who want one to get one because the stock's going to be just it's going to dissipate as soon as that goes live. I think it's going to sell out
Yeah. I mean, I
instantly.
wonder
They're
if they're
just not
gonna
going to.
do. They've got to do something where they're gonna, you're not going to be able to just order 10 of them or something stupid. It's going to be one at a time orders. Surely they must have a way of controlling that.
I think it's. I could be wrong. But I think it's the first time in console history where the parts that create consoles have actually gotten more expensive, not cheaper,
Yeah.
because the way they, for those who don't know, the way they make consoles is they make them at a loss, and then as the years go by, because they still, like PlayStation and Xbox, they make money off the stores, they all the games and the subscription services and all that. And
Mhm.
as the years go on, so parts get cheaper, the manufacturing cost of a console gets cheaper, so it starts being a loss and then goes into being a profit. So by the end of a console's lifespan, they're actually making a profit. This time is the first time, I think, in history where they are more expensive to make now than they were when they first came out, which is a little bit worrying. I mean, the console prices have gone up, not down. So
Will it cost about the same as a PC of equivalent spec? I don't know really, because technically it is a low-powered PC. But I would have to say that it's got to be, it's got to be, it's got to have that console-friendly. Um, yeah, I'm trying to get my words out in the right way here. But yeah, it's got to have that console-friendly ecosystem where you just pay one price, you've got it, and it will do games equivalent to what could be played on a PC. I think it has to be the same price as a PS5. I think that's the bottom line, same price or less. But whether it happens or not, I'm not entirely sure. Now the thing is, are they going to do the same thing though with the Steam frame and the controllers? Are they going to be priced at a similar level as well? Are we going to see the Steam frame being a similar price to a PSVR 2? Because surely it's more advanced. The controller, supposedly, with all its bells and whistles, that's going to have to be quite expensive as well. And the Steam machine, does it come with a controller? Will you have to buy that separately? Is that going to be like another
I
80,
think it
90 quid? I don't know.
I think it comes with the controller, but I'm pretty sure that is all it comes with. I don't know how much the Steam VR goes for now in comparison to, say, the PSVR. But I don't know. I mean, I think I know there's rumors of a Half-Life 3 dropping
Mhm.
with the Steam machine, which I think would
Surely
would
that
be crazy if they did. But
if they were going to do that, they'd have to have just announced that at the same time of the machine. If they were going to
hmm,
do that, surely. I don't think that a game as big as Half-Life 3, there's no way that if this machine releases, I mean, you have to assume the machine is releasing quite early in 2026, because retail units are out there with the YouTubers and the reviewers and IGN and all of them. It's in their hands already. The machine exists in a physical form. Um, so it's got to be coming out soon. And if there was a Half-Life game due within the next 12 months, there is no way in hell that they could keep that secret or under wraps at all. It would just be impossible. So as much as I would like to see it, I don't think it's going to happen just yet. It's about as likely as Reynard City's quote there in the chat. Half-Life 3 announced on Atlantis by Elvis riding the Loch Ness monster.
it's going to be. It's. I think the most popular market for the Steam machines honestly going to be the modding market. I mean, the
Yeah.
so EmuDeck is a app on the Steam. Well, you can get it on Steam, which essentially is a housing unit for all your emulators. So it's going to be. It could not be more easy to get that console experience with an entire library of emulators at your disposal. So I think it's going to be
Mhm.
one of those things where, for the people who want to go down that route, and I'm personally a fan of emulation, provided it's only on games that I can't get off like a PlayStation store or something. Like yeah, I'm all for that, but I definitely think that's going to be one of the bigger crowds that
Mhm.
will go down that route, because I know the Steam Deck's quite popular for emulation.
Okay, so just to finish off on this subject, then, Mike, how much is the maximum price that you would go to tempt you to buy a Steam machine?
Um,
What's it got to be
my
to tempt
argument
you to buy one, or are you just not interested at all at this point? Because I'm still interested.
My argument is that until it goes on very, and I can pay however much I want to pay it off over a year, I ain't picking up because the even if it's six, seven, 500, if it's £200, I will not have the income in my bank account to drop drop on it. So unless I can finance it, that's never going to happen. Not anytime soon,
Fair enough.
anyway.
For me, I'm saying 500, 500 max, but I think it's going to be 600. And if it's more than 600, then it will fail and it will just disappear.
I
Six.
think 700
Oh, training.
personally. That's my prediction.
Okay. Right then. Let's. I'm thinking around it's the 600 minimum, probably closer to 800. Oh, that's pessimistic, but it's possible. It's possible. Right, let's move on to our next topic. And our next topic, quite a fun one. As you'll obviously all be aware, it's been really cold this last week or so. So we thought we would have a little chat about what are our favourite and or most memorable ice/winter/snow levels in games. Now, Mike, you came up with this idea. So, do you have any anything to start us off? Let us know, chat, if you've got any favourite winter levels or winter games. Kisrol's already getting in with one. What are your thoughts, Mike?
I mean, the one that when I brought this up, the first thing that came to mind. I don't know why this was the first thing that came to mind, but it was the Freeze Easy Peak from the first Banjo Kazooie. Um, that's the one with the big the big snowmen that you have to fly and smack into.
Yeah.
That's definitely one that sticks in my mind. There was a DLC for Borderlands 2 called Marcus Saves Mercenary Day, and Mercenary Day was basically the Borderlands universe version of Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
except they all get guns instead of your traditional presents. And the final boss of that DLC was a big snowman, and there was many. Everyone talked like they were like a Christmas story. So that was quite a fun DLC actually. I think Borderlands 2 is still the funniest game in the franchise, but that's definitely one that stuck out to me.
All right, cool. Chat have got a few suggestions on their favourite winter games. It took about 3 seconds for Kisra to shout out Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3, but only if it's got the original music. I'd say that's definitely a good call. Morgan Emily Games says Animal Crossing in winter at nighttime, specifically New Leaf. Reynard City Winter Games on Amstrad. That's quite an obvious one. The comically long biathlon. Snowboard Kids. I don't think I played Snowboard Kids. And Cheney jumps in with the Ice Cavern in Ocarina of Time or the Crystal Cavern in Donkey Kong 64. I didn't even put Donkey Kong on my list. Cheney's leaning towards what I was about to talk about, 1080 snowboarding. I'll come back to the chat for some other ones in a minute. But for me, I put together myself a little list of my favourite snow levels in games. And I have got 7 suggestions. And you can tell me if you think these are good or not. Wait, Sonic Ice Cap's already in my list. So actually 6. I'm going to shout out one that's a little bit out there. But Halo, the original Halo, I don't know the name of the chapter or the level, but it has some fantastic
I know which one you mean.
outdoor snow combat where you've got the tanks and you've got the wraiths and the phantoms. Absolutely loved that. One particularly obvious one for everyone, Skyrim, of course. The whole game is in winter. I was really hopeful when I first played Skyrim. I was hopeful that at some point it would act like winter would actually end and it would look a bit more like Oblivion. It would be a bit sunnier and warmer, but it never really gets to that, does it? It's cold throughout, no matter what happens. That's my favourite one. Leaning into what Cheney said with 1080 snowboarding, Amped 2. Amped 2 is my favourite snowboarding game. And I'm probably the only person in the world who thinks that Amped 2 is the best snowboarding game. But I absolutely loved it because it was one of the first games that had dual analog sticks. And it worked so well on the original Xbox. I absolutely loved that game. The graphics were incredible. But that was kind of before SSX really sort of came along and took over. Any more suggestions from you, Mike? I've got a few more still to go through.
I know one. I know one that you've definitely played this year.
Go on.
Like in terms of a level. Canada from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
Yes. Oh, that's like some of the best 2 minutes of gaming ever, right there.
'Cause I remember that one. The missions were you had to I haven't played the remake, but I'm assuming it's the same in the original. But there was one of the challenges was to unstick people's tongues from the poles.
That's it's still in there. It's definitely well. The
Yeah,
goals are exactly the same. The goals are exactly the same. I think there's some extra ones, but yeah, you still have to impress the skaters. And there's that really horrible grind that you have to do around this sort of big sort of fence that goes around a tree
yeah.
to knock some snow off the tree and like upset some bullies or something. Snow levels in Goldeneye, says Cheney, and WV. Oh, with a bit of a classic there. James Pond 2. It did indeed have a Christmas theme. What made me look at James Pond 2 recently? Oh, I did a couple of questions on it in our quiz event, didn't I? No one talk about the skiing level in Tomorrow Never Dies. Don't worry, Cheney, we won't. All good. Emily, buy me the analog 3D and we can get right to it. What are we talking about here, Emily? You're talking about GoldenEye, I presume. Okay. Kisra, Diamond Dust from Sonic 3D is good for the music alone. Both versions are great, but the Saturn one is very festive. I don't think I've played. I don't remember Sonic 3D. I've probably given it a go at some point. Skyrim is a cold place. Yes, of course it is.
I
Change
know.
the
Snow levels have almost like a certain reputation, like a bad reputation for how they are, mostly because of the ice. Like, obviously, I think it's Ocarina of Time's got the Ice Palace, which I'm not a particular fan of. And there's also, I think of something like Crash Bandicoot, where the ice levels are particularly slippery. So it's kind of like it's one of those things where, as a level convention, it can be quite irritating. Especially, I know. Well, I suppose one thing that comes to mind is the opening of Red Dead Redemption 2, because that entire opening, that first like prologue or whatever you want to call it, is entirely in the snow. That yeah,
Yeah,
it's incredibly memorable, and it's not technically a level, but it's still part of the game that's in the snow.
yeah. Also, Red Dead, the start of Red Dead Redemption 2, and the ending of Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. Not obviously snow levels, but snow areas in the open world. Probably some of the best examples of like snow physics and how like the snow deforms as you walk through it and stuff. So yeah, now I'm thinking about it. There's so many snow levels and snow elements in games, isn't there?
You
Crazy.
got there's a part of the Ghost of Tsushima. There's a part in the story where you basically, I think you're like dying, I think, and you're like your horse has left you, and you're like in the snow,
Yeah.
and you kind of like collapse, and then you wake up and you're in the snow, and there's like you've got I don't think you've got any of your gear, and you've got to try and get yourself back to sort of
Mhm.
health and pick off the guards and stuff. So I remember that particular part of the game being associated with snow.
Ghost of Yotei has a similar thing to that, actually. I won't go into spoilers, but uh, one of the best one of the best duels in the game takes place in a snowy region. If you've played the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, the weather effects in that game are incredible. I'm going to get off it because I know that Kisra wants to play Yotei and hasn't done it, and I know Kisra's in the chat, so I won't
Got
say too much about that.
God
But
of War, both God of War
yeah,
2018 and
yeah,
Ragnarok.
of course,
Both
yes.
start both start with because obviously I mean in the second game you've got Ragnarok that's
Mhm.
happening, but in the first one you've obviously got the that sort of starts off in the end up with the snow as well. So it's kind of like makes you realize how many games start with you in the snow or
Yeah.
end with you in the snow.
Well, it's an easy way to it's an easy choice for level design, I guess, isn't it? Because it changes up the mechanics of how your character controls. So it's probably an easy thing to implement, isn't it? Change everything
You've
to
got
white,
the
change the speed of your grips.
you've got the ice skating sort of ability in Mario Galaxy. So there's like
Yeah.
galaxies that are all snowy, and you sort of when you go on the ice, you sort of skate across it. So I remember that being also particularly memorable. I mean, there's lots of I think there's more good than bad when it comes to ice levels. I feel like if you're talking about hit to loss ratio, I'd probably say water levels probably probably haven't beat in terms
Yeah,
of more
yeah,
infamous takes. But I mean, there are
for
some
sure.
definitely some bad
I
ice
mean,
levels.
talking of infamous things, you've obviously got Cool Cool Mountain, Mario 64. Probably
Yeah,
one of the very early games, really, at least in 3D, that gave us different physics in the game. I've got two more examples on my list. I'm going to say The Last of Us, the original one.
yeah,
We're
of
about
course.
halfway through the game where you get the season change and you get the little cute rabbit come along and then it gets shot with an arrow. That was brilliant. Um, and of course, the best winter ice section of all time is, of course, the start of Disc 2 in Final Fantasy VII. As you make your way to, I can't even remember where I'm going now. Where is it where you go to in the ice? I can't remember. But yeah, it's where you, at the start of Disc 2, everything's all very sad. And, someone's just died that you're very close to, and everyone's upset. But then you're like, oh no, don't worry, let's just go snowboarding and have some fun with this mini game. And then you do that, and
Final
everyone
Fantasy
forgets.
VI starts with you trudging through the snow as well, doesn't it?
Oh my god, yeah, it does. Oh, there's too many examples, Mike. Okay, we could have made a whole show out of this.
I think it's I think it's before we get off on this. Now I'm thinking about it, there seems to be a running trend with ice with like snow to like from like a narrative standpoint in video games where it's like to show okay they're at their lowest,
Mhm.
let's get them buried in the snow. I mean, you could argue Final Fantasy VII is them after their lowest point, in the narrative, or you could argue the same with, I mean, Final Fantasy VI. You could argue Terra is at her lowest point at the start of
Mhm.
that game. In same with like the Last of Us, you bring up again, Ellie and Joel are kind of at their lowest point
Yeah.
as they're trudging through the snow. So it's interesting that using the snow is used. Again with Red Dead 2, you've got John Marston's gone
Only
missing,
bad
and
things happen in the snow in Red Dead 2.
yeah, it's interesting to me that the cold and the bitterness and snow is kind of used as a sort of low point narratively. It's interesting that that
Hmm.
is a motif that has probably come along more often than you'd maybe think. It's I find that quite interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's all of my examples. Obviously, we've got Spyro as well that's on the screen here, but I haven't played that myself. Any other suggestions before we move on? Yes, Kid's right. It was, of course, Icicle in. Right.
Mm.
Igloos appear and snowblokes in Animal Crossing. Life is Strange 2 had a snow in it. Okay. I remember something very good happening in the snow in Red Dead Redemption 2. Very good. Before something very bad happened, yes. All right then. Cool. That was quite fun. I'm surprised how many there are. I mean, so many games, in fact, do, don't they? I feel like I want to go through a list now. I want to get my database here and I want to go through a whole list of games and see how many of them have actually got a snow level. I reckon it's quite a high percentage. What do you reckon? 30%? 40% of games have got a snow element in them somewhere?
I mean,
I think it's
you
really
haven't
high.
even taken into account like racing games and stuff like the
I mean, I
ability to.
thought about it, but then I thought everyone doesn't want to get bored with me talking about sim racing on like, yet another OLL show. So I thought I'd be quiet on that one.
Well, I thought more. I'm also in the fact that, I mean, um, can you in a lot of those games can you actually alter the weather, or is it just very
Yeah,
much
totally.
like?
Yeah, totally. I mean, not all. I mean, most like arcade driving games, most of them will have like snowy levels and stuff. But in
Mm.
sim racing, it's quite rare to get sort of actual snow, just because it makes it so hard. No one really wants to do it. But rain is probably more common than snow outside of things like rally games and stuff like that, where it's kind of part and parcel of what you do in those types of games. How do we evaluate the how Emily says, how do we evaluate the best quality of sound, texture, and narrative relevance of the snow? I mean, we'd probably need a lot of time to actually come up with some criteria on which to judge on that. But if anyone would like us to do so, we can make that a more detailed
Yeah,
topic for
when's
the next show.
when we're doing the snow tier list, the snow level
The
tier
snow
list?
tier list. Maybe we'll do that in the alternative OLL Game Awards in a couple of weeks' time that we're going to do to coincide with, for want of a better term, the real Game Awards. We'll do our own fun ones of categories that are actually interesting for people. So yeah, what is the best snow level? But we won't just do games just released this year. We'll have to do games that released in all of the years on account of us having only played single digits of figures of games this year. We don't need the Game Awards, says Emily. Let's celebrate game designers who worked on snow for 40 hours. Exactly. That's what we're going to do. I like that as a topic. That sounds like a plan. Right. Shall we move on to our next topic? A slight segue talking about Game Awards, because obviously we are now going to talk about. Oh, I haven't got my picture prepared. Let me load in my new picture for this one. Sorry, guys. Hold on a second. Where did I put that? I had a picture somewhere of the Golden Joystick Awards, which is what I wanted to find. There we go. Golden Joystick Awards. There we go. It was, of course, the Golden Joystick Awards on the 20th of November. I'm sure everybody watched them and everybody knew about them, but we've got the results. And as we did go through the nominations for the Game Awards that takes place on the 11th of December, I believe it is, we thought we'd go through the results of the Golden Joysticks to see, do we agree with them for what they've come up with, so to speak? Do we agree with what they've awarded so far? And do we think that this is going to have any bearing on what the actual Game Award results are going to be? So, don't worry, there's not as many awards at the Golden Joysticks as there was for the Game Award nominations. We won't go through all the nominations. We'll just quickly rattle through what won what. So, Mike, I've got a list here. Shall I read them all out? And then you can tell me if it's
You
a
can
good or bad result.
read the first one. I have got a list up, so I will
Brilliant.
refer to
So,
it.
so yeah, the first the first Golden Joystick Award was for best audio design, and the winner was Ghost of Yotei. I'd say
Is
that's
that one
not
we
bad.
agree with, John?
I mean, on account of Ghost of Yotei being one of the 4 games that I've played in recent months, I'm going to say yes. That is a worthy winner. Whether it's the best or not, I can't say. No one can say objectively, I don't think, but I'm happy with that as a result. If anyone in the chat agrees or disagrees as we go through, feel free to shout out and let us know. The next category was Best Early Access Game, and the winner was Repo. I haven't played Repo.
I have also not played Repo. The problem is with most of these early access games is they are PC only, and as a primarily console gamer, I don't really get a chance to actually give these a go. So
Okay. Best Game Adaptation, Arcane Season 2.
yeah, this year's been quite horrendous for video game adaptations. To be honest, I don't know if you've seen the Minecraft movie, John. I thought it was horrendous.
I haven't seen it. I've got it. I've got it on a download, but I've never had the desire to watch it. I feel like I've seen the best bits already from
I
trailers and
saw
stuff.
when I saw the nominations for the Game of the Year awards and looked at what the best adaptation was, it did make me chuckle because I thought every single one of these nominations is bad. You've got like the Last of Us season 2. I'm trying to think what else was nominated now. It's been a pretty horrendous year for. I mean, a Devil May Cry it was mixed,
Mhm.
but it's been a bit of a terrible year for adaptations. I think Arcane season 2 winning is what one. It's a good show, but also I honestly at this point just think it won by default. It's just been quite a
There wasn't much
bad
else
year for
going on.
adaptations.
Yeah. Next one was Best Game Expansion, and that was won by Lies of P Overture. Okay.
Yep, I haven't played Lies of P, but yeah, sure. I can't
Uh,
even think of what DLCs came out this year, to be honest.
could you count Elden Ring in that? Night Rain? Not Night Rain.
No, because that's
The other one.
technically a separate game.
Yeah, you wouldn't call it
So
DLC? Oh, okay. Squid Dude says they
they're
have
not
never
in that
watched these awards.
one.
It's just whatever went the most viral on Reddit. You know what, Squid Dude? I think you might actually be right on that one. Also, they have, how is this even a category? Best game trailer. Guess what won it?
GTA 6.
Yes, it was GTA 6. GTA 6 won Best Game Trailer. That's apparently all you need to do. You don't need to make a game these days. Just make a trailer and then stick it in early access. The best gaming hardware, if anyone is interested in this, the best gaming hardware was won by probably a sponsor, the AMD Ryzen 9 9950X3D. Well, yeah, obviously the best graphics card is obviously going to do quite well. But quite why that even is an award is a little bit strange to me. The best indie game went to Blueprints. Okay. And the best indie game that was self-published went to Hollow Knight Silksong. I would say that's probably a fair result. Listen here.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Blueprints, but I looked at it. It's one of those walkie puzzle games. So yeah, it's not really the sort of game I'm interested in personally. I still need to play the first Hollow Knight. It's been in my wish list on my PlayStation app for probably about 5 years now. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it,
Yeah,
but
I haven't
I
played it
definitely
yet.
plan to.
GT7 has free monthly DLC, but the main GT7 DLC pack comes out on the 4th of December, a couple of weeks' time. Right, next category is Best Lead Performer. That went to Jennifer English, which was Expedition 33, I believe.
Yeah, it
right?
was the character of Mayel. Um, to be honest, it was deserved. She's probably the best performance in the game. I don't think that's unwarranted, and it gets better as the game goes along. For those who don't know, she also voiced Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3, so she's definitely a rising star in the video game voice actor sort of
Getting the
landscape.
work in. Best multiplayer game was Peak.
Yep, I looked at Peak. It's one of those sort of silly games. So essentially, it's kind of like a sillier Death Stranding. By that I mean,
Okay.
you have to like climb up mountains and stuff, and you pick up resources, but you've got a limit to how much you can carry. The more you're carrying, the slower you are.
Mhm.
So it's one of those sort of games. It's I don't know. I don't want to say it's like a viral game, but it's another game I looked into because every time the Game of Year awards come out, I always look at the games and go, oh, maybe I've missed out. And I looked at that sort of game and I was like, yeah, it's not something that interests me in the slightest.
The next category is best remake slash remaster, and the winner was The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
It seems a weird one to not have in the game of year awards. To be honest, this category. It seems like there are so
Yeah,
many. I mean, was it
because it's so
was it
prevalent,
last
isn't
year?
it?
Wasn't there a bit of controversy last year because one of the games got nominated? It might have been Resident Evil 4 potentially that it was nominated, and there was a bit of a hoo ha about it, going, "Oh,
Yeah, I
it's not an original game," and
just make it a category because so many of the best-selling games, as we've said so many times, are remakes and remasters. But I would
I was
say that's a
impressed with
worthy
it as
winner.
well. I think for as bad of a job Bethesda do with pretty much everything, I actually thought the Oblivion remaster was actually felt like a very good update for the game. So I definitely, even if you have played it before, there's a lot of enough quality of life changes to recommend it. And if you haven't played it before, I still recommend it. So it's one of those games. It's kind of a win-win either way. It kind of does that thing I think a remaster should do, where it kind of kills any reason to sort of play the original,
Yes.
and that's
Yep.
definitely something that the remaster does. So yeah, it's I think it's well deserved. Though I'm sure I don't know maybe Metal Gear Solid 3 or Silent Hill 2 deserves it more. I don't know.
Ooh, maybe. Okay. Best soundtrack, Claire Obscure.
Yeah, that's lived in my head rent free for like the past like 6 months, so that doesn't
I,
surprise me at
I
all.
promise I am going to get onto playing this game. Best storytelling, Claire Obscure.
Yep, that's valid. There's a lot of twists throughout the game. I won't say what because I genuinely think everyone in this chat needs to play Claire Obscure because I think it's 100% worth the time. But yeah, there's so many twists and turns and there's so much seeding that doesn't feel like it, you're like what, and then later on you go, oh, it makes so much sense. So it's yeah, there's a lot of really clever writing that kind of you only appreciate more the more you play, and even if you replayed it on New Game Plus, that would all sort of make more sense.
I'm going to have to get into it. The best supporting performer was Ben Starr, who I believe was in Claire Obscure.
Yeah, that was Verso, who is a spoiler, so can't say anything about his character.
Okay,
But
tell me
yeah, his
nothing.
performance is great.
Tell me
Anyone
nothing.
who knows Ben Starr may know him better as the main protagonist in Final Fantasy 16, which is his sort of breakout role.
Mm.
I don't know. Did you play Final Fantasy 16, John?
I didn't. It's still on my list. Still on my list.
Fake fan.
I mean, I heard it just wasn't that good. It didn't. It didn't really appeal to me at the time, so haven't gone
I
for
think
it.
it's the Final Fantasy fans seem to not like it, but the people who aren't Final Fantasy fans, I think, seem to enjoy it a bit more. It's very
It's just a good game in its own
again,
right, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay. Next up, best visual design, and the winner was Claire Obscure.
It's
So
not
yeah, another
surprising
one
at
there.
all.
Breakthrough Award was Schedule 1. I'm afraid I don't actually know what that is.
Nope, neither do I.
Um, Console exclusive game of the year, Ghost of Yotei. I don't know what other console exclusives would be any bigger than that. I suppose everything else has been multi-platform, so I'll agree with that. The Critics' Choice, whatever that might be, the Critics' Choice was Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now, I think that's the award that says we just need to get some Nintendo executives in the audience tonight, so let's give something to Nintendo. But yes, Donkey Kong Bonanza has got an award there. The most wanted game of the year is, surprisingly, GTA 6. The PC game of the year was Hollow Knight Silksong. And then they've got two categories called Still Playing, which I'm guessing is their version of sort of ongoing franchise or live service game, long term game. And they have a mobile and they have a PC and console category. The Still Playing mobile category was won by Pokemon Go, and the PC and console still playing category was won by Minecraft. So
I don't think I've genuinely been in the city in the last 5 years and actually seen anyone still playing Pokemon Go. So I'm surprised that actually won because I genuinely don't see anyone. I'm sure there still are people, but I genuinely don't see anyone play it ever.
I think it's
You
just
know,
less,
so
it's less socially acceptable to do it visibly, I think, now. The streamer's choice went to Peak. The studio of the year went to Sandfall Interactive. And the ultimate game of the year, the actual best game overall, I'll give you one guess, Mike.
is it Claire Obscure Expedition 33 by any chance?
Would you believe it was Claire Obscure Expedition 33 won the Ultimate Game of the Year? So let's just count these up. How many awards has this game won? 1,
Let's keep in mind that
2,
Sandfall
3,
Interactive are the
4,
developers who
5,
made Claire Obscure Expedition
6,
33. So
7. It's won 8 awards, which is, I'm not going to count how many, but about a third of a third, if not more, of all of the
it
awards
won
for the
every
Golden Joystick.
single category it was nominated for. So
Wow.
it's I think I think sometimes you get an Elden Ring or a Baldur's Gate 3 or a Claire Obscure where like
Yeah.
you know that one game that kind of sits above the rest of like, oh yeah, that's gonna win everything. That's kind of it's just one of them years. Sometimes I feel like last year was a bit more scattershot. I mean Astrobot won Game of the Year,
Oh, yeah, it did,
which
didn't it? Yeah, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? But okay.
last year was a bit of a dud of a year. I'm surprised there was no love for Split Fiction, to be honest, considering I mean I don't know.
Actually, yeah.
I haven't checked the nominations, but because I Split Fiction I'd say is
Yeah, it didn't win anything, did it?
there's I think it's the second best game of the year that I've played after Expedition. But it's fantastic though. I absolutely love that game.
Amazing. Amazing. So, yeah, we're gonna have to work out what date we're gonna do our own awards on. Let's just have a quick look at my calendar here. Where are we? So if the real awards, say the real awards, the game awards are on. Is it the 7th or the 11th? They're on the 11th, aren't they? I think it's on a Thursday. I might be wrong. Somebody correct me. When are the game awards?
Is that a Thursday? Or is that a Friday? Like, is it a Thursday in America but a Friday here, or is that just a Thursday
Oh,
in America?
the website says it is December the 11th, so it's the night of December the 11th for us. It's obviously just going to be,
Okay,
very late, of course.
right.
But yeah, that is a Thursday. So how about we do our game awards on the Monday OLL show before the real game awards? So if we do ours on whatever it is, 8th, yeah. So if we do ours on the 8th, how about that? We can wear suits. Have you got a suit, Mike?
I don't know if I have, to be honest. I
You
got
got you got a shirt and tie at least.
maybe I can print one off.
We'll work something out. But yeah, we'll get dressed up for it. We'll make a proper show of that one. But it's going to be Games of All Time awards, even though we've kind
Yeah,
of done that in the past. But thankfully, no one could
yeah.
have
And
possibly
what I'll
remembered
do
the
is I'll put
software.
it on YouTube as the Real Game Awards, and then when it comes out, I'll release it a couple hours before the Game Awards come out, and then we'll get all this traction. We'll get a lot of
Oh my
hate
god, yeah,
comments,
we
but
will
we'll
from all the trending stuff. Yeah, oh, yeah, let's do
we'll
that. I'm up for
get
that.
like 1 million views.
Reynard City, I need you to hold those thoughts and remind me of these, because things like funniest glitch and best hat, they are the exact type of categories that we would need to do. And the
Can
gosh
I
darn it, you
can I
tried.
just say on the air, I feel like we need one of our categories to be the stupidest Reynard City question, and we should go through every single
We're going to
week.
go through 8 years of OLL history and see
No, I
all the
think we should just do
random
it. We should
shit
just
that
do
you
it
come up.
yearly. We should just go off what's happened since we've come back, and then we should do in a poll the worst Reynard City question, and then we should sort of I don't know how whether we're gonna vote. I think we should probably
Reynard
vote
City would have to be the judge,
between
though.
four of us,
We'll work it out.
and vote for which one's the silliest. I know there was one about would you rather be a king of the goblins or have a hat full of macaroni or whatever it was. So
Yeah, we'll honour Reynard City with that somehow.
yeah.
Right. So that is the end of our talking points for the show. So for the last 10 minutes, we'll kind of just throw it over to the chat and yourself, Mike, if you've got any random questions. Anything that you would like to get our opinion on, or anything that we may have missed in the news that we could maybe give our opinions on, give us a shout. Let us know what you think.
Do you think, John, because there was a controversy to do with the Game Awards regarding there was talks of maybe multiplayer games getting snubbed in the main category of Game of the Year awards. Do you think necessarily that that is the case, or would you say that that is a slight over exaggeration?
What, the multiplayer games?
Yes.
Um, Yeah, I mean, are you talking more sort of like local multiplayer, or are we talking about
Well, just
online
multiplayer games
multiplayer,
in
or just in
general.
general?
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
the
you're right.
controversy was basic. Ark Raiders was the game that should have been nominated for Game of the Year, but it wasn't. So the idea that it's been that the idea is that multiplayer games get snubbed for that category. Do you think that's necessarily the case?
What I find strange about it is, in my opinion, as somebody who generally tends to prefer single player stuff, um, it's strange because the multiplayer games are probably the most popular and the most played games in the world, aren't they? Um, so it is strange that sometimes the most popular games are often not included. But then, having said that, a lot of the most popular games are long-term games, aren't they? Rather than things that have necessarily all come out this year. I can't say that my attention has been really caught by any multiplayer games, particularly in 2025. So I guess that kind of justifies them not really having many nominations, because I haven't become aware of any multiplayer games that are really, that outstandingly good. Or at least I haven't played them. So I'm not sure how to answer that one, to be honest. I think I could. It depends how much you like them, whether you feel they're deserved, I guess.
I
John,
think
I've played Mario Kart
like
and Kirby. Yes, I have.
I think I mean, It Takes Two won Game of the Year when that came out. I think it's more so that it's more so the argument against sort of your more typical like live service multiplayer games. I think the reason why I would never nominate these games is because a lot of the time they come with caveats like,
Yeah,
oh, it's good, but it's got a sort of predatory like um battle pass, or oh, it's good, oh, but they've been using, like in the case of Arc Raiders, they've been using AI for the voice acting. It's like I think, like, for me, one of the reasons why I'm very for Clair Obscure winning is not just that I think it's a great game, but outside of that, it is a beacon for what video game industry could be. It's around 30 people who are passionate about a game. They've made it feel like a big budget AAA game, even though it's not. It's kind of, there's nothing but passion behind it, and there's everything is been done with so much grace and so much integrity. There's been nothing malicious about the game at all. They're going to release a bunch of free stuff for it coming up soon. It's very much the same way that Baldur's Gate 3 was when that came out. Is very much a reflection of what the video game industry should be. And I think when a multiplayer game wins the Game of the Year awards, well, it hasn't, but if it was to, I think I don't think you want that as your poster for this is what gaming should be. In terms of, those games, like I said, are like full of predatory like microtransactions and
yeah,
sometimes loot boxes and that
yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah. It's a good point, actually. But just the general, safety things around online games. I suppose they don't like to flirt with that, do they? But yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, Mario Kart World didn't get any sort of nominations for anything like that, did they? So
I mean,
yes,
it's not as good as Sonic Cross World, so it's so I don't even say that as a joke either. Like, genuinely think it's a bit.
it's getting
I think
SpongeBob
it
DLC, isn't it?
personally think it's been a bit of a down. I don't like the new Mario Kart, to be honest. I think Mario Kart 8 is better.
I agree based on the fact that having got Mario Kart World, I just didn't stick with it. Did it for a few hours, ran through the races, and I felt I'm done. That was enough for me. But then I have got my sim racing as well, so that kind of takes up all of my time. If I was going to say what my best, multiplayer online game would be, I'd probably say something along the lines of GT7, rather unsurprisingly, because it's the thing that I play myself. And what the enjoyment I can get out of that with VR and the wheel and all that kind of stuff. I would always say that. I can't drift on any Mario Kart game, says WV. Thank you for that important information. Reynard City has a very important question for us. Who do you think would be better at Smash Bros? Sigmund Freud, Mary Shelley, Caveman Peter, Anne of Green Gables, or Cthulhu? I think Anne of Green Gables would be quite good at Smash. And I think that we should definitely campaign for that to be a new character in the new game.
I think Cthulhu would be the Ridley's too big controversy of our time. I think so. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. Unfortunately. So
Peter has a question. Thoughts on Bethesda saying that shadow drops are more exciting? I think that shadow drops, when a game just comes out of nowhere, it is exciting for sure. But that tells me that you're either extremely confident in your game or you just don't have a marketing budget for it. So, um, what can you give me any examples of a game that's just been shadow dropped out of nowhere that is really good? I suppose Oblivion would be a good example of that, wasn't it? Because that was very short amount of time, wasn't it, between announcement and release?
Well, that's the thing. Like, who's saying it? Bethesda are saying shadow drops are more exciting. Now, Bethesda are Bethesda. So if they shadow drop a Fallout game, they shadow drop Elder Scrolls. Of obviously that's going to be huge.
Oh yes.
But they that's not like not every game is of that recognition. You know, you can't shadow drop every single game. I
You
also
can't
think it's
shadow
a
drop
case
an
of
unknown brand, can you?
no, of course not. And I think yeah, like you say, it is a risk. I think there's a nice, neat middle ground. Like say for example, the Wolverine game that Insomniac are making.
Mhm.
That was announced what 2, 3 maybe years ago. Like that was released a lot. That was announced a long time ago. I mean, remember The Last of Us 2? That was
Mhm.
announced pretty much as soon as the first one came out,
Yes.
and it gets to the point where you wait so long that when I mean like Metroid Prime 4 is another example. Like you wait so long that when the game does come out, it's almost like you're not excited anymore. It's just like, oh, okay, I'll
Mhm.
believe it when I see it, and I might get it. Whereas, I think the sweet spot is, I'd say a year at most, but preferably 6 months
Yeah,
or
more than
less.
a year for a game announcement is, it's a long time to bear, isn't it? I think you've got exceptions to that. Things like GTA, where they did the trailer for GTA, and granted the game's not ready, but they did say that it was going to be out within a year of the trailer. Um, but yeah, when they do something like say, Elder Scrolls 6, and they don't have a clue what they're doing with it. It's literally like, oh yeah, we'll make one Monday, so let's just make a 20-second trailer for it. I don't like anything like that. But if Bethesda were in the habit of this shadow dropping, and if they think that that's the way to go, maybe we will suddenly get an Elder Scrolls 6 sooner than we think. You never know. I think it's very unlikely though. Oh yeah, Nintendo
Yeah, they
Direct
have to.
sometimes do it as well. Yeah.
I think they have to for Elder Scrolls 6. I think that's just too big a game for them to shadow drop. I feel like they'd have to
Yeah, you want me to
drum
hide
up
it.
some. I think Bethesda, in terms of their reputation, are at an all-time low. So I think they need to do something. I don't think it's a coincidence after all the Fallout 4 drama, they dropped another trailer for the TV show. Like, guys, look, here's look at
We're
this.
still
It's
doing something
exciting.
good. We're still doing something good, I promise. Oh, okay. Right, last questions then, please, everybody. Thank you very much. Kivra was asking in the Discord if there is any OLL 26 news. And other than my image being really small on this screen, there isn't a lot of OLL 26 news that I can share today. But there will hopefully be some news to come in the coming days. I'm basically now working on the website. That's kind of what I've been doing solidly for the last few days. Once the website's ready to go, then announcements will be made and tickets will be on sale, and we will be revealing who our special guest is for the event, and all of the shenanigans that will be going on. But yeah, I can't tell if that text is centered. I'm sure that you will check it properly for me, Emily. This is just a placeholder image. Don't worry, it's not the final image for the event. Oh, crikey. So yeah, that will be the end of the show. Oh wait, no, we've got time for one more question from Reynard C. Go on then. Would you rather run a bar with Gary Busey or eat? He's got a fascination with Gary Busey. Would you rather run a bar with Gary Busey or eat a really delicious Scotch egg from a farm shop? Well, I'd rather have the Scotch egg, because isn't Gary Busey a bit of an alcoholic? I don't know.
I just don't like the prospect of running a bar. That just seems like an absolute headache. So I'd probably rather just eat a Scotch egg and move on my life.
That's a
To be
fair point.
honest.
I agree, Mike. There you go, Reynolds City. You've got your answers. Okay. Right. And so we shall call that the end of the show on the exact 1 hour mark of the stream as well. So let's quickly get everything all tidied off on here. Yeah, we're all good. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined us to watch the show. Thank you very much to Mike for co-hosting this evening. You can see some shorts and highlights of the show on YouTube. You can see those on the short YouTubes. But we do also upload the show almost in full. Is that right, Mike? We do a full upload on YouTube as well, or do you cut bits out of that?
Yes, with some minor edits. Mine are being like 10 minutes of John one of the shows watching, checking his PlayStation store to see if Cyberpunk was on there.
Oh yeah, we don't need that. But yeah, you can rewatch the show at any point on demand on Twitch and on YouTube. Shorts as well do go up, and at some point this week, we're also going to get those shorts on what's that other one called? TikTok. That's a thing, isn't it? We'll get the shorts on there as well. There will also be new longer form video content, not about the OLL show, coming soon to our YouTube channel. So if you don't follow us on YouTube, feel free, go on there, type in OLL Games, and you'll find us, hopefully reasonably easy. And you can be ready for when new content starts to appear on there. Thank you very much for everybody in the chat. Thank you for all of your comments, and thank you for watching this evening. I shall be back streaming on Wednesday. Might be doing some Metal Gear, might be doing some Xbox 360, might be Outrun 2. We'll see how that goes. But I'll be streaming on Wednesday and Friday. The next OLL show is on next Monday, and we should have Jack and Cheney available for that show as well. Super stuff. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you very much for joining, Mike. We shall now sign off, and I shall say goodbye. Thank you. Cool. See you later. Bye bye bye.